calling this How Greed is Punished in Chess, because sometimes if you steal pieces in chess, you end up with an unusual piece on the square that the piece you've stolen. I'll show you what I mean. This was a king pawn opening straight for this fianchetto, and often when they're going for this fianchetto idea, what they're trying to do is steal rook here. So we continue like this. Fianchetto the other side, obviously not quite creating the same threat for the other rook because I've got this nice row of pawns. But you see, as soon as you develop this bishop, if you don't fianchetto it yourself, if you develop it like this, they can steal this pawn, and then they can, as they see it, I suppose, steal the rook. You've got this move here, so you've lost a pawn, and you've got a bishop for a rook, but you're now threatening their rook. They're going to block, but this is a potential danger because I can do, for example, I can do things like this with a view to sacking the knight on the f7 square. His king out, and then his king will be slightly held up by the lasers of my bishops. But now, because don't forget, he's lost a bishop now, so he's kind of... Okay, I've only got one rook, but I've got both bishops, and when you have both bishops, they kind of work together sometimes. Just depends on how the game is going, the kind of game, but a lot of the time they will work together. If you can break up your opponent's pawn structure then and create really big holes in it, then your bishops can sort of work together, covering all the in-between squares. Anyways, so we come to here, and obviously he's covering that square. He can see a sack might be coming. So I come back to here. And again, what's happened is that I've put my knight on a slightly unusual square. I thought let's make a theme of this. Let's get everything on unusual squares. Because when you've got pieces on unusual squares, you can just really surprise your opponent.
Kinside castling.
Especially if this, and they sort of expect certain things to be on certain squares. So here we come to here, and this is exactly the theme of this game and why it transpired the way it did. So now my queen comes to here, probably not the best square for her to be on. Although, with a little pawn move, she could steal a rook, because she's effectively fianchettoed. But he sees that. It's obviously something that's on his mind, this idea of stealing rooks. And now I come out to here, simply so I can castle. Again, I'm not quite sure my queen's on the best square at this point. She could easily get trapped in that sort of situation if I'm not careful. And so now out comes his laser aiming towards her.
Kinside castling.
I castle, and his knight comes here. I move here. This is just to stop his knight from getting to the centre. And so he does a big push in the middle and put my bishop here, just so I can recapture immediately, which I do. But of course there's a pawn going for free here, or so he thinks, but he forgets that I've got a laser here. That's a laser that he gave me, and he immediately resigned before I could even capture the queen. So there we are. Risks of stealing.